So the original question is, what is the main problem? Now, not many people have addressed what I consider to be the main problem, and which is that we do not have trial by jury courts of law in Britain or anywhere in the world actually do it. And so this is what we have to reassert as the common law jury, because it is the jurors who decide whether government statutes and acts are actually in compliance with the common law constitution. And and of course they're not. And so all the problems that we are seeing, that we are listening to today, are because we are under a tyrannical regime since the usurpation of the common law juror back in 1689, which was done by the government at the time, introducing the Bill of Rights to William of Orange, who came to the throne. And since that time, we have had judges that have controlled the jurors. Since that time, we've had the judges controlling the jurors, and statutes have been continually used to destroy us in so many different ways. It's just, it's just ridiculous. So if we're looking for a main problem, that's the problem, and we need to remedy that problem. Now, how to remedy that problem is the problem, because not so many people seem to come up with a solution. I've looked at this in its most practical way that I possibly can, and I've come up with a practical solution. I mean, I'm part of the practical lawful dissent movement, and we tend to try to keep things down to its basic common denominator, and how we can remedy this situation as quickly and as peacefully as we possibly can. So we've got to recognise why the courts as they are. We don't have any common law courts in our country except for the ones that the people are now starting to convene themselves. Well, this is because the police have become the policy enforcers of the corporations, as we all know this. It's not like it's a big secret. So the solution really is to take away the gatekeepers, which are the police, take away their power. You see, police constables and government ministers and councillors and anyone in positions of service are not in positions of power. And this is something that has been concept controlled, because this is what they're doing to us all by the TV and the media, is concept controlling us into thinking that we vote people into power. Everyone says it now. Even people say, oh, we don't want to vote Tory into power next time. They're not getting it. And that changing of that one word changes the whole concept of a reality, that we should be voting people into service, honourable people, that abide by their oaths of office and the common law constitution. So that's the main problem. How are we going to remedy this? Well, the only way we've remedied this problem in the past, in history, is by the unity of the people. So we need to unify. Even if we can come together to recognise that we've got a problem and that unity is the solution to remedy the problem, but we don't necessarily have the total remedy yet. So we need to come together, put our thoughts and our education, if you like, around a table to come to a solution. Now, I think that the solution is to lobby the police en masse, because if we do this, if we do it en masse, if we go to every police station in the country, we would stop them from reinforcing each other's stations. So if we focus on like a headquarters, or say Scotland Yard, they would just reinforce. So we would need something like 2 million people, I believe, to do this, to actually organise enough to go to their local police stations, because this is something that's available to every one of us. And actually, it surprises me that more people aren't going to the police stations and saying, hang on a minute, what are you guys doing here? This PESCO and Brexit are acts of high treason being committed right now today by Theresa May and her quisling government. So why are you ignoring this? This is what we should be asking the police. It's a natural thing that we should be doing, but hardly anyone's doing this. So I say if we were got together en masse to lobby the police, lobby the bobby as we like to call it, because it has basically the right sort of sentiment. We're not going in there with pitchforks and burning torches. We're going in there saying, look guys, we're really concerned about the future. They're rolling out 5G, fracking, we've got geoengineering, we've got aspartame in our sweet products, and lots of other things, vaccines. We can go through a whole great list. What are you guys doing? Do you genuinely care about the future? Now, they're very, very much controlled by their superior officers, as we know. So we're going to have to get it's going to come to a position where we're either going to change the police's individual minds to actually stand under their warrant cards and their oaths of office and to protect the common law constitution, or we're going to end up fighting with the police in defence of ourselves at some later date. So I'm saying, we need to come to the fact that we need to unify. That's the main thing. That's what history has shown us all along with certain revolutions, where we can actually stop tyranny of the state by unity. And so I think we need to act in truth, only truth, evidence facts. We're not talking about any hearsay here. With the fact that treason is being committed, and what treason means, people need to look into what treason means because people don't really understand it. Treason means the destruction of our individual sovereignty, which is our individual natural-born, natural law rights. And this is very serious because that's going to affect our children. And it's, in fact, with 5G rolling out, our children aren't going to survive for very long, and neither are we. So we are running out of time here, guys. So I'm going to leave it at that. That's what made my point there.
Thank you. Just a quick thing. Is there a website, David? Sorry.
Well, we're just setting up a new website. Our website got hacked because obviously we're doing something right. So it's practicallawfordissent.co.uk. It's still in its infancy and keeps getting sort of updated. So it's up and down at the moment.
Yeah. Thank you for your excellent work.
Thank you.
I'd just like to make a point to back entirely what you've set up. One of the things that I'm fed up with hearing is when the politicians say that Parliament is sovereign. Parliament is not sovereign. We, the people, are sovereign. They are our sovereigns. Queen is sovereign. Well, that's another question. I think we can come on to.
Can I just answer that one?
Yeah. Because
the Queen is the holder of the office of sovereign. She is, under her coronation oath obligations, she holds the sovereignty of the people in trust for the people. That's it.
That's it. And so the politicians are now telling us, and they're assuming that we're all dumbed down enough to agree to it, is that they are sovereign. Well, one thing that the treasonous judges do not tell a jury is that a jury can annul bad legislation passed by Parliament. And literally, they can decide that the act or statute being used against somebody, if they don't agree with it, if they believe it to be unjust and does not serve its purpose, they can find the individual not guilty and annul that statute from the statute books, thus saying that we, the people, are in charge. Yes, you politicians can have your say, but if we don't agree with it, we have the final say.
Yeah.
And that is not being said to our juries. So our juries at the moment are being hamstrung from their true potential.
Can I just add one more point to that before I don't want to hold the screen? The reason why we are police by consent in this country is because the jurors are the ones who decide what statutes are legal. 99% of the statutes on the books today would not be on the books today if jurors were able to do their duties under common law. So that's the only reason why we are police by consent. And we are not police by consent today. Okay. So this is a 329-year-old treasonous situation. This is why all the heads of state, all the heads of corporations, judiciary and everything are under the control of the central bankers, which is where it sort of goes to.
Yeah. It's slavery.
It's slavery by deception, by coercion, and by entrapment, but by concept control. And I use that concept control because it is the same as mind control, but it's the use of those words like power to service.
Are politicians and a corporation or a business has a duty of care to the people that use their products. So we can give notices of liability. People need to know that the corporations that we are actually going to say, you've damaged us, that this is not okay. And their duty of care is not being observed.
The thing is, you can do that, but with a note, you have to be able to make them liable somewhere. This is why we have to reassert the common law courts. Yeah.
You're right, because the problem is we've got the judges who sit in as the executioners, whether it's 5G, geoengineering,
Doesn't matter what it
asset
is.
stripping, child
Execution.
abuse. Yeah, they are sitting as the executioners.
Yeah, it's so infested with it to clear it
Yes,
out.
and the beneficiaries.
And the power in that, again, is because whoever denies the Constitution is committing a very serious crime. So, are you going to deny me a properly convened court de jure hearing today, Constable, or whoever? Because if you are, then you're just providing you evidence of high treason. And we now can take that to the common law courts, which we are setting up ourselves because we're sick to death of it, and which can't be denied again by anybody to be anything but legitimate without committing sedition.
Could you read up the 6 requirements?
Gosh, it's...
Or is it too long?
Well, I can read you the
You summarise.
The headlines are good. Okay. Number 1, the restoration of the absolute supremacy of our ancient trial by jury and common law constitution. Obviously, that includes a number by jury and so forth. Number 2, an immediate and outright end to all forms of austerity, poverty, and debt misery, and that is the restoration of sovereignty, the Bradbury Pound discussed. 3, the protection of all our children from all forms of dreadful abuse. That's very self-explanatory. 4, the safeguarding of our defence and our police constabularies from agenda-driven cutbacks and interference. In other words, the police to make sure that there's no crime, that the communities are thoroughly protected, and that our sovereignty is protected by our defence. 5, the shutting down of the Roman civil law legal system that unlawfully controls all of us by fraud, deception, and entrapment. We discussed so much about today. And finally, 6, and this is especially with the 5G in particular, the assurance that science always serves and benefits all of humanity whilst protecting the natural well-being of our planet.
Thank you so much.
Those 6 requirements will do the job. When we are laughing, we're not showing fear. And when we're not showing fear, they've lost, because they need us to be in fear. And this movement that is now starting to emerge is going to be about laughter and having fun at their expense.
I'll say a final note. Yes, the mind, it can be our greatest asset and also our greatest threat. Because everything you see around you almost began with a thought. And thoughts are so powerful. We're magicians, we manifest with thoughts, whether it's something good or bad. So we've got to know how to manage and manipulate those thoughts now to create a virtual utopia on this planet, because at the moment it has been turned into a hell, which has become normal, with pockets of beautiful symbiosis. But honestly, I'll leave you with that and say thank you so much for joining us here today. And one last thing, it's an old Zoroastrian proverb, just to give the evildoers on this planet a warning. Yeah? Evil finally becomes stupid. And it is becoming very stupid now, evidently. And that gives good and truth a chance to shine right through and help and save us. Thank you all very much for joining. Thank you very much.